Y'all, this one's for the books. I don't know if I'm gonna ever recover from this Airbnb disaster. Hello and welcome to the Wanderlust Host channel. My name is Olivia Tati and I am a short-term rental specialist and world traveler on a mission to inspire you to invest in real estate and travel the world. The last Airbnb that we purchased ended up being an absolute nightmare. People say investing in real estate is great because it's just so passive, you know, passive income. Let me tell you something, short-term rentals are not passive income, especially at the beginning. That being said, they are a great way to make money, but it's definitely not a passive business. And I just want to be transparent with you because, you know, you have those social media gurus out there saying how fantastic investing in short-term rentals is, and don't get me wrong, I love short-term rentals, I really do. But sometimes they can be an absolute pain, and it's not just as plain and easy every single time to get a property started up and ready to go. Especially with short-term rentals, there's just like so much work that needs to happen up front in order to get it to start producing money. So I wanted to share this Airbnb horror story from our last short-term rental that we bought, just so you can kind of know what you could be getting yourself into. Oh, and by the way, for this video, I'm actually gonna be doing a collab with my friend Shannon Rose, and she's also gonna be sharing one of her horror stories about one of her Airbnb experiences, where she actually went to go stay at an Airbnb once, and it was just like super weird. She was staying at this Airbnb for her sister's bachelorette, and it's just a really weird, wild story. So make sure you go over to her channel to go check it out, since we're basically sharing just like some sort of Airbnb horror story. Now, Shannon is an amazing social media influencer and content creator, and she has over 1 million subscribers on her YouTube channel and over hundreds of thousands on Instagram and TikTok. She is also a real estate investor, which we love, and just started an amazing glamping resort in California called the Glamping Camp. So seriously, you should, after this video, head over to her channel to see her Airbnb story. And don't forget, if you like this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and the little bell notification button. It just helps grow my channel, get these videos out to more people, because I also want to make sure that people don't make the same mistakes that I did when starting an Airbnb. Now back to the video. But so today, I'm literally going to share with you every single thing that went wrong with our last short-term rental or Airbnb. And also, the reason that I call it a short-term rental is that I don't just list it on Airbnb, I have it on Vrbo, and then we also are launching a direct booking website as well. And just so you know, you're probably gonna get the best rates on the properties through the direct booking website. So make sure to go check it out. But yeah, everything went wrong with our last property. And the funny thing is, I absolutely love this property. It was so cute. It is so cute. It's still running. It's alive, I swear. But it's so cute. But it has just been such a nightmare. One thing is also to make sure you stay until the end so you can actually see what this cute little property ended up turning out like, and you can get the full exclusive tour. But yeah, first thing that happened is we just got delayed so much throughout this entire process, especially on the front end. We were supposed to close on the property 2 weeks earlier. We had everything set up, inspections were done, we just need to get an appraisal. But turns out in rural Virginia, it's really hard to get an appraisal in a timely fashion. So we're just waiting forever to get this darn appraisal. It's like been a week and a half. No appraisal has been returned. And so that actually delayed our closing 2 weeks. And not only that, but we had told our lender that we needed to get a POA for 2 of our investors since they were out of town and they wouldn't be coming into town to sign any of the documents. So a POA, power of attorney, was needed to get everything signed and legalized. But that was also missed, even though we reminded them so many times. And so we ended up having to do early occupancy just so we could get in the property and get started, because we were on a timeline. We needed to go set up another person's property right after this one. So we didn't have any time to lollygag. Like, here's a real-time video of us literally moving in. Basically, we've gotten here a few days early. We're clear to close and ready to close, but have had some delays with appraisals and everything. In Virginia, it takes forever for anything to happen. Oops. But we did get early occupancy, so that's something you can do in case you didn't know, so that we can kind of just get started, get the ball rolling. We don't really have much time left on our hands. Just, you know, unloading. Now, thankfully, this property was in pretty good shape. We really were just going in, painting it, changing light fixtures, changing bathroom fixtures, nothing like super duper duper crazy, right? But somehow, so many things still went wrong. So if you didn't know, whenever you are getting a short-term rental, you're gonna have a ton of boxes, like so many boxes, just of all of the things that you purchased. We purchased most of ours from Amazon, but we also like to use Minoan to purchase things from Wayfair or Public Goods, etc. So I just want to give you a full tour of the property. This is what it looked like. And then at the end, we'll show you what we transformed it into. I know, right? And remove this crappy tile. Oh. So we get to the property and go into the house and start trying to turn on the lights and, you know, get power on. Turns out there's no power to the house. We still don't know exactly what happened. We think that the previous owners either forgot to pay their bills or just turned the power off without letting us know. So there was no power to the property. So I get on the phone with the power company, and this is a Friday, mind you, and they don't operate over the weekend. So I get on the phone with the power company and I'm like, hey, we just moved into this property. We're working on it basically the whole weekend and we're living here with our dogs. We need power to the house like now. And it was so funny. They were like, oh, well, it's kind of later in the day. It was like, I don't know, 11 o'clock. I don't think we're gonna be able to get someone out to you until Monday. And excuse me, we are supposed to be here the whole weekend and we are already on a time crunch. We literally got early occupancy for this. What do you mean we're not gonna have power until Monday? And so just back and forth on the phone with the lady. She's able to call the power guy who's going around and doing who knows what. But they come through, also bless this lady. They come through, they turn our power on like a few hours later. We're like, thank gosh, we can get stuff done. And so first order of business at the property is to actually paint it, because if we get everything painted, that means we can easily move furniture in. We don't have to worry about wet paint, etc. So that's why we try and paint everything right from the beginning. So we were getting set up to start painting all of this, and then suddenly, this is about in the middle of the night, I think around 8 or 9 o'clock, and the power goes out. Like all the lights turn down. And it's nighttime at this point. And Nina and I are just standing there in the dark, getting all of our painting stuff ready. Like, oh, what do we do? And remember, we have to get started on this house. We got early occupancy specifically so that we could get started on this house, so that we could even remotely reach our timeline to get this property up and running and done. So it turned out that a tree had fallen on the power line a few blocks down. So the whole town was out of power, literally the entire town. So I ended up driving all the way to Walmart, grabbing headlamps and lanterns, drove back, and we decided we were just gonna paint through the dark. Like, we already had planned to kind of do an all-nighter that night to just get the first coats of paint on, but now we were doing it in the dark. So, you know, just super, super fun. But hey, we were troopers and we got it done. I am so freaking proud of us. yeah, I feel like a lot of people would have just given up at that point. Okay, so we literally lost power, so that's fun, you know. Just another day in real estate. It looks like a tree fell on the power line in our neighborhood. So no one in our neighborhood has power, but we went and got flashlights and lanterns, and we're gonna power through, we're gonna paint, we are gonna get this done because we only have so much time to do this. Okay, so it is day 2. Freaking exhausted. We stayed up very late, like till, I don't know, 6 a.m. painting, just getting that first round of painting on. It just takes a while. I think we got Benjamin Moore paint that I honestly didn't like that much. The quality, it was a lot of layers for a not super dark base. So definitely going back with Sherwin-Williams next time. But she is starting to look pretty cute. So remember too, we haven't actually closed on this property like at all. We don't actually own this property yet, but we're already painting it and getting things done to it so that we can have it ready to list by the time we have to leave to go to another property to set it up. And so the first few days were pretty okay, you know, we're making time, and then we finally start painting some of the rooms white, like either a portion of it white, like the bottom half of the pink room white, and we painted a color white called Dover white. Because that's what we thought we had originally painted our last house in a nice like creamy white that we loved. And so we're painting this house, this Dover white from Sherwin-Williams, and we're like, does that look cream to you? And my business partner Anita's like, I mean, yeah, maybe it's just the lighting, because we're painting at dark for a lot of this time. So we're like, maybe it's just the lighting, and when, you know, it gets brighter during the day, it's gonna actually look like that creamy white that we like. And so the next day, we wake up and we look at it, and and the funny thing is we both keep staring at the rooms that we painted this Dover white so many times. And we're like, is that cream? I think that's cream. But we didn't want to change it because we were already on a time crunch. We were like, we don't have time to repaint these rooms a different color. And so it's so funny because Anita and I just sit in these camping chairs because that's the only furniture we have. Since we're still painting the house, we didn't want to get any of the furniture out yet because we didn't want to get paint on the furniture. And so we're sitting in our camping chairs kind of exhausted, right? Like we have been up till 4 a.m. all weekend, sometimes 5, painting and trying to get everything done. And we look at it, I remember vividly looking into the bathroom that we just fully painted this Dover white and being like, we're gonna have to repaint that, aren't we? And so turns out the color that we used in the previous house wasn't Dover white. It was Dove white by Valspar. So literally 1 letter off makes a huge difference. So make sure you double check your paint colors and make sure to write down all of your paint colors that you use in every single one of your properties in like a master document for your property. Trust me, you will not regret it. So we go to Lowe's the next day, and this is already pushing back our timeline. So in our head, especially me, because the way I like to really kind of create a timeline for everything, I'm already moving pieces, right? Okay, we're gonna have to move this up, this is gonna have to get moved back so that we can fit everything within the timeline. And we finally go back, we get the proper white. We actually didn't even end up going with Dove white. We went up with a different white. I don't off the top of my head remember which one it was, but if you DM me, I can definitely let you know. It's in my master documents, but I just don't have time right now to go through it. And it looked so much better. And the funny thing is most people probably wouldn't notice the difference or the change, but because we're both so design centric, and I feel like my eyes are really sensitive to color and light, you just couldn't shake it. Like it was the wrong white. So now everything's going pretty okay. You know, we may be a little bit behind schedule, but it's not too bad. But we're definitely getting to the crunch time. So we're really pulling, at this point, we're about a week and a half, really starting to have to pull a lot of all-nighters at this point. I think we did like a full week or so of like an hour to 3 hours max of sleep. I was very delusional the entire time, but somehow got everything done. And so one thing that we really like to do with our properties is if they have those kind of beige, creamy, old looking receptacles, electrical receptacles, we go in and we change those out, as well as the cover plates. And it makes just the world of a difference from a design standpoint. It makes the house look cleaner, brighter, newer, fresher, all of that. So this house, I swear, had maybe 150 different electrical receptacles. Like, why are there 9 outlets, like 9 pairs of outlets in every single bedroom? That seems unnecessary. I think there were more because there was also the light switches and stuff. But so we had to go in and change all of those.
Late night electrical.
And Anita and I feel pretty comfortable doing those ourselves, as we did it for our previous property. But this one just had so many, and so many that were just totally useless. So we were like, okay, let's be smart about this. Let's cover these receptacles up with just like a blank cover plate, so we don't have to go in and spend more time putting in new outlets. We'll just cover the wires up, basically. Turns out, the funny thing is we finished this at about 5 in the morning, and then we go to turn the power back on in the house, and lo and behold, some of the rooms don't turn on. So it is currently 7:30 in the morning. We have not slept yet. We spent all night changing out the electrical receptacles. And so we learned a lot about electrical. Honestly, I feel like I could have a full-on conversation with an electrician. We literally were walking them through our hypothesis when we had certain parts that needed to be fixed. But turns out, like, the outlets in some of the rooms are actually connected in series, meaning that if you take one outlet out and cover it up, there's no power actually circulating through the entire series. So your lights and your outlets won't work. This was after like some brainstorming on what happened, how we screwed up the electrical so bad. So finally, deductive reasoning, we figured it out. We went in and we added back all of the light switches and or outlets that we took out, and most, like 95% of the rooms came back, but one did not. Turns out there was a short circuit in the actual wiring in the wall. So something we literally couldn't have done. It was just a faulty wire. But oh my gosh, we were banging our heads over and over just trying to troubleshoot this thing. And remember, we're already behind schedule at this point. This really put a damper in on our schedule, and we're getting no sleep and just trying to finish this gosh darn property, and everything feels like it's just falling apart. Okay, so that was the electrical saga. And then we'd accidentally sent some packages to our other property that was 30 minutes away. So that was just another wrench in the like, So we accidentally got packages from one property sent to the other property. Couldn't that have gone just a little bit better, so we weren't having to drive 30 minutes away to go pick up packages from another property? And then there were so many just other small, tiny little annoyances that could have been prevented. Like, we broke one of the mirrors for the closet, so that shattered and we had to buy a new one and pick it up. And remember, we've got like 4 or 5 days, maybe less, 3 days at this point, just trying to figure out all of these little things. One of the sinks kept leaking, one of the showers wouldn't get hot. We cut the new shelves for one of the bathrooms to a completely wrong size, so we had to go back to Lowe's, which, by the way, for this property, Lowe's is like an hour away. It's not close. I had to go back to Lowe's to get new boards, to cut them to the appropriate size. And it's so funny because thinking back now, it feels like, oh, those were like not that bad. But remember, we had originally planned 4 weeks to get this project done. We only had 2, like legitimately 2 weeks to get this project done, and that was it. And it was a big project. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom, large kitchen, large living room, lots of electrical receptacles, and it's really just me and Anita doing everything. Her husband also did come down for a little bit to help us, but the majority of it was just us two, and we were also working on other things during that time too. Another fun thing we found was a leaking hot tub. So This property already came with a hot tub, which was great. We were like, awesome, we don't have to spend another $10,000 on a hot tub. Turns out during the inspection, we did not check to make sure that the hot tub wasn't leaking. And turns out like it was just a really slow, long, dripping leak that would have been really hard to just catch in an inspection. So just one of those things. So now we had to go in, buy a new hot tub. It still hasn't arrived. It's getting in this week, but we actually ended up financing it because the property does cash flow pretty well, so we should be able to cover the financing for a year on the hot tub through Wayfair. And then to top it off, on the last day, like we're getting ready to leave. We are going to a different property to go set that up. We're like, okay, take videos, take pictures, and then Anita spills an entire can of paint on the kitchen floor, and I'm like, ah. Like, also understand, we're so delirious at this point. Like, we have not been sleeping legitimately. Like, I'm telling you, an hour a night max for multiple days sustained. Like, no joke. Honestly, like I think I needed about like a week or two to recover after that, and Anita like needs a lot of sleep, so she's like still recovering, I swear. But just, it was so bizarre and wild because we're kind of just like in this trance. And it's so funny because if you see like my videos, I feel like I do a really good job at the beginning capturing everything, but then as the weeks go by the end, I just stop capturing everything because I'm exhausted and I can't even think, and I'm just trying to get this property up and running and ready to go. That is our Airbnb horror story. And just a reminder to give yourself extra time if you can. And that being said, we did give ourselves extra time, and it went way past that. But that's the end of the story. I really want to show you just how this house turned out. Like, it's so freaking adorable. I am completely 100% obsessed with it, and I really hope you're going to be obsessed with it too. And if you are obsessed with it, go head over to Shenandoah National Park, stay at the property. We'd love to host you. Literally, it brings us so much happiness, especially when people comment on our beautiful interior design. Stinking cute, right? Well, that's all I got for you today. If you like this video, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and the little bell notification button. I would love to get this video out to more people so that they don't make the same mistakes that I did when getting started on their Airbnb or short-term rental journey. Toodaloo!